What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Mattel Masters of the Universe Masterverse, New Adventures of He-Man, Skeletor, and Slush Head. So these figures both look really cool. We have a Skeletor, of course, from the show. Got to have the bad guy to go along with our He-Man that we already have. Looks pretty cool there. Although both of these, like design-wise, look more like they're from the comics than the TV show. They look a lot more goofy in the TV show, but overall Skeletor looks pretty awesome there, you know, with the new upgraded designs, and we'll have to compare him to He-Man. And then we also get the other villain of Slush Head, which looks pretty cool. The nice green skin, and he's a deluxe figure. It comes with more accessories and everything. Has some robotic like claws there in the background, so that looks pretty cool as well. So we have both of these to look at together, and we just happen to have both of these around the same time, both from that New Adventures of He-Man show. So pretty cool to have these together, and I'm excited to check them out. So let me get them out of the box, and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with Skeletor, who's taken to the future by the Galactic Guardians, Captain Hydron and Lieutenant Flipshot, to save their planet Primus, along with He-Man, because they weren't able to decide who was good and who was evil. But upon arrival, Skeletor revealed his true nature and made an agreement with the evil mutants to try to take over the planet. So he looks cool here. Like I said, it is from the New Adventures of He-Man show, which has a lot of, I would say, terrible designs to it. But like I said, to me, it seems like this is more from the comic versions. If I can find pictures, I'll put them up just so you can see the difference between the cartoon and the comics. And to me, like I said, just looks more comics, where it looks a little bit cooler overall. But it looks, you know, relatively like Skeletor still has the blue skin, the skull head. The skull itself looks relatively the same. Nice, like big set of chompers there with the red eyes. But he's also got like this greenish color hair like coming out over the top or whatever it is with this cybernetics. So with this, he's got a lot of cybernetics attached to him as well. So he's got that attached there into the back. A cape hanging off the back, which unfortunately just hooked around this ring. So it reminds me of like She-Ra or whatever. So it's got that bit of a pinkish, maybe some red tint to it, sort of cape there hanging off the back. And then we go to his chest plate. So it still has the skulls there up on the chest plate, and then a big cybernetic chest plate with all sorts of little gremlin and stuff. Blue gloves on his hands, and continues to the belt with the skull with nice like silver design and more of that reddish pink color, and even some on there on the side of his legs, continuing down the blue legs, and you can see some of the cybernetics flowing through there to his blue boots. So he still got like the 3 toes, but it's much more robotic now, and I like that design a lot. So overall, like I said, it's not the coolest looking figure, but I do really like this design specifically. But let's do his movements. So his head can twist all the way around. You can look down that far and up that far. So not horrible movements, but still not the best. Shoulders up to 90 and rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that can bend up that far at least, so not too bad there, with the wrist that'll twist around. Now this has a hinge up and down hand. And then we go to the ab crunch, which of course he has this chest plate, but he can still crunch back and forth, so nice crunching there. And it should, yeah, be able to twist around in there. And then we do get a twist all the way around at the waist. And then we get the hips that come up under 90, but that far up, and then out to the side. Thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint, that's a little bit stiff, but can bend up that far to the back, not far from kicking his butt. We get a shin twist down in the boot there, and then the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side a little. So not bad movements overall, you know, relatively similar to all the other Masterverse, so nothing new or out of the ordinary there, but has relatively good range overall for the figure. But accessory wise, he comes with some additional hands. So we get fist hands if you don't want to have like his grip hands he's got on there. And then for his outfit, we do get his helmet. So we have this all silver helmet with the nice skull up top there. So again, just a big cybernetic thing. Now with this, it's easier if you take it from the back and slide it forward. It kind of goes on his head a little bit easier, and you can just slide it on there. So I think that looks pretty dorky. I think it looks better without it, but it just, you know, adds some more to that design. So he does have that helmet on there. And then we have his staff. So his skull staff. So the big skull up there with the more like cybernetic robotic pieces, whatever, up there with a nice spike on the end of it. So that looks pretty cool. So let's put this into his hand. So there's Skeletor all kitted out with his armor and staff, and I think he looks pretty cool. Like I said, definitely not the coolest design, but I do really enjoy this, like I said, with it going to see more of that comic design compared to the cartoon. But I think he does look pretty cool overall there. And so we can see the difference here is He-Man as well. So we've had this He-Man already. I think he looks a little bit weird, so definitely prefer the Skeletor out of these. And you can see just that Skeletor is actually taller than He-Man, which is kind of weird, but there we can have Skeletor and He-Man from the New Adventures of He-Man now face off together, which is pretty cool. So awesome that we now have this Skeletor. And then we also have Slush Head from the show, which is the second command of the evil mutants under Flog, which serves as the co-pilot of the mutant mothership, and he's often depicted as dim-witted. So he looks pretty cool here. He's a cool looking character and comes with a lot of cool accessories, but the execution of the figure could have been done a lot better. But his name is Slush Head because his helmet fills with swamp water to allow him to breathe, so from his like natural planet or whatever. So that's pretty cool. His head can fill with different liquids, and we do get a little bit of an accessory that kind of shows that. But overall, I think he looks cool. So he's got this nice green skin. You can see he's got like these bumps and ridges all over him, some spikes there on his forearms. His legs look like pickles to me, so kind of weird there. And then he's got this nice metallic bluish color armor, so up there on his chest, going down to the underwear, and then down on his shins as well. Nice three-toed feet there. And then he's got like these robotic pieces that connect his arms up there, and we get a lot of accessories to go along with him. But like I said, action figure wise, which we go through, it could have been a little bit better. So one thing right off the back, like we can't get to his head easily, so like his head keeps falling over to the side like this, so it's always like over to the side, so that is pretty annoying. So I'll show you how that all works out, but I think he looks cool. Just like I said, the figure could have been executed a lot better. But we'll do the movements. Obviously with the head, we can't really do anything with there, although I feel this head is supposed to come out, which again, I'll go into that in more detail, that the head is supposed to be able to pop out to get access to and stuff, but it doesn't. So that's an issue there. But we'll go to the shoulders that come up to 90 and rotate around. We get a bicep twist and the double elbow joints. That's really stiff, but can bend that far up. So about the same as Skeletor. The wrist will twist around and hinge back and forth for this hand. Then we go to the ab crunch. So it's going to be similar to Skeletor, but he has the contraption that comes down, so it's going to be hard to do like the ab crunch, so he just moves a little back and forth and twist around a little, but it's mostly at the waist that he twists all the way around. So if it wasn't for this piece connecting back in here, you'd be able to move him a lot easier there in the midsection. Then we go down to the hips that come up that far, so under 90, so not very far at all, and out to the side, a thigh twist all the way around, the double knee joint that can bend up, again pretty stiff, but can bend up that far to the back. Then we get a shin twist down in the leg there, so twist around, and then the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So the movements are pretty similar to Skeletor's, just maybe a little bit worse, like I said, with the hips and then not being able to do the midsection in there, but he works out just fine. But then for accessories, we get some additional hands. So we get a set of fist hands for him. So again, if you don't want the grip hands on, and then we do also get a set of open hands where he has more webbed hands. So that is pretty cool. His hands are all webbed there. You can't really tell with the grips, but you get those as an option. And then we start to get the accessories that have issues. So first we have an additional head. So this one, he doesn't have the like little spikes up on top of his head, and his eyes are more bugged, and you see his teeth and stuff there. So it looks relatively the same, just like I said, doesn't really have the spike that one does. You can see a little ridge of spikes up there. But now the issue is getting the head switched out, which, as I said, I think this is supposed to come out like you're just supposed to, be able to pull this head out and be able to get access to it, because we do get this accessory as well that, is supposed to be able to switch his head out. And with this, you just grab a hold of it and pull it out. So I assume the head's supposed to work exactly like that, but unfortunately it does not. So the only way to get access to the head is to undo his armor and get up to it. So if you undo his armor, you can get access now to his head. And like I said, it seems like it's glued in there or something, this dome piece that should be able to pop out, but unfortunately it's stuck in there. But with that, we can then get access to his head. And like I said, unfortunately, just keeps sort of twisting to the side there. But now with that, we can switch out either of the heads, whichever we would prefer. But I think I like the one with the spike. I think it looks overall a little bit better. But there, with his armor back on, we can give his other accessories. So we get his first backpack. So I chose this one because it's the one that I don't prefer to use, so we'll just do it first. So you can see we have this pack design that has some of this purple like ooze or whatever inside of it that I think looks pretty cool. And then it's got all this slot for all the tentacles he's going to come with. So this, we can take and pop this into the holes here on his back. So it just sits on his back like that. So it gives him a backpack to be able to like feed into his weapons and stuff. Maybe the purple ooze powers his suit. But with that, we also get these 4 tentacles that we can then stick inside of him, which I know a lot of people have issues with, especially this tentacle breaking, because it's a really hard plastic design, and this one tends to break really easily and right out of the box. But thankfully for us, ours was loose in the pack, so it was just kind of hanging in there, so we didn't have to worry about the plastic packaging possibly breaking it. But yeah, all our tentacles are intact, and with these you can then just stick them into the backpack, so they just work, kind of like Doc Ock's arms. So you just stick them in there. Now this has 8 slots, so we have the 4 there and then 2 on each side there, so we have 8 slots but only 4 tentacles, so you can just sort of pick and choose wherever you want them to stick them in the backpack. But then we get this other backpack that I think I prefer a little bit more. So it's a pack that has like a tank over here to the side, and then as the slot for the 4 tentacles there. So we may switch it out and put this on instead. So there's that backpack with all the tentacles there. So now he's got the 4 tentacles coming around, and you can obviously just pick and choose wherever you want them, but I just chose that design. So I think that looks pretty cool. And that backpack is more sleek, so this one, sits much closer to the back and he's easier to stand up. But then we have the 4 tentacles sticking off there, which is pretty cool. And they do have a hinge joint into them, so down here at the bottom they do have a hinge, so they can hinge back and forth, so you can adjust them a little there. So I think that looks awesome. And then of course finally we get his weapon, which is a laser axe, which is an axe and a rifle. So we get an axe there you can put into his hand or into the gun like that, which I think I like the gun, so let's put this in his hand. So there's the gun in his hand, and I think just overall it looks cool. Like I said, have him all kitted out like this, I think he looks really cool. I just wish the figure could be executed a little bit better, like it was easier to get to his head, and these tentacles weren't as brittle as they are. Like I said, we don't have any issues with them, but I guarantee putting them in our storage, they're going to come up broken. So I just think he looks pretty cool there. Nice, awesome figure design. And like I said, I think he looks more like he does from the comics than he does from the cartoon, because he looks much more goofier there. So pretty cool figure design, just could have been executed a little bit better. And with that, we have our 2 new Masters of the Universe Masterverse, New Adventures of He-Man, Skeletor, and Slush Head. Like I said, both of them are pretty cool. Like, the designs are not like the best designs, but I do really like them carried out in these figures here. I think they both look pretty awesome, and having both all kitted out I think really looks cool. So like the Skeletor, like Slush Head, so can't really complain too much about either of these. But let me know what you thought of these 2 down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this review, let me know with a thumbs up. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.